Well, let me educate you somewhat.
Go ahead.
Many countries had slavery, but there was only one that tore itself apart. There was only one that went brother against brother over their own slaves, and that was the United States of America, because it realised the sinful, awful darkness of slavery.
No,
but
that's not
overall,
why.
No, that's actually
That's
not
not
true.
right.
That's actually not true, Nick. And it's
not
unfortunate.
accurate.
It's unfortunate that you're trying to rewrite history on TV this morning.
I'm not rewriting history. You're erasing history.
Excuse me, sir.
You say that this is the most colorblind society that you've seen in the world. I'm paraphrasing you here, obviously. These monuments are to exalt leaders of a government that was created, the Confederacy, on the premise of white supremacy and to perpetuate slavery. If this indeed is a colorblind society, why not remove them?
Well, Victor, look, I'm here to tell you that the monuments are part of our culture, they're part of our heritage. You don't see Greeks tearing down the Acropolis, you don't see Italians raising the Colosseum. I'm here to tell you that white supremacy and Nazism are repugnant, repulsive ideologies that have no room here in the United States of America. But my simple question for Rashad would be, where were you in 2011? What was wrong with this statue in 1995? What was wrong with this statue in 2007? This is nothing more than an AstroTurf campaign that is seeking to divide our nation. And I don't think it's doing anything but weakening and hurting the greatest country in the history of the world.
Rashad?
The beauty about this country is that we've been able to, over decades and years, continuing to push for progress, to build a more perfect union when all of us are being able to be heard, counted, and visible. And we have a long way to go. And so what I will say to Nick is that I was fighting for civil rights back in 2011 and then back in 2007. I was fighting to remove statues in different places around this country. And I say to the people who are watching, should our elders who had to sit in the back of the buses still continue to have to see these statues? Should we have to send our children to schools named after Confederate generals, even in places like California, which wasn't even a state at the time? Send our kids to schools named after Confederate generals. People who wanted to keep in place a system that actually made it punishable by death for black people to learn how to read, and also punished white people for teaching people how to read. This is not just some sort of benign historical conversation. And absolutely, Nick, this is about power. It's about the message that is sent to black people when they walk into courthouses and expect justice. And there's a Confederate symbol out front, a symbol of someone who fought to keep black people in chains, out front when you are walking inside of a building seeking justice, when you are walking inside of a building to pay your taxes, when you are walking into buildings across this country that are supposed to be about fairness and equality. We need to take these down, right, and people of all races should be standing up.
Nick, let me get you to respond to something, because the monument in Charlottesville, around which on Friday night many of those Nazis and white supremacists held their tiki torches, is of Robert E. Lee, Confederate general. And he wrote this in 1869. I think it wiser, moreover, not to keep open the sores of war, but to follow the examples of those nations who endeavored to obliterate the marks of civil strife, to commit to oblivion the feelings of the engendered. So, I mean, you're defending a monument to a man who didn't want one.
Victor, I'm defending America's history and America's culture. Was slavery an awful, terrible, sinful chapter
using this
in
word
this country's
culture,
history?
which I don't know. I don't know if you know
Victor,
it or not.
let me finish for a moment.
Well,
you let Rashad go. Just give me a moment.
I'll give you an opportunity, but I just want to educate you. When you use the word culture, that is received by that is received by some people as Western culture, white culture specifically, and the Confederacy was to divide this country. You've written about loving America, loving the Union, loving the Constitution, loving the United States. The Confederacy took up arms against the country to divide it, to perpetuate slavery.